I'm not going to be the first to tell you that RV life, van life, whatever it is not always sunshine and rainbows. And today, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what you do when everything goes sideways. Or in this instance, everything busts. Yes, that's my hair dryer. And we're using all of our towels because our hot water system had a pipe that busted off yesterday, and that is not an immediate fix. But some people who live RV life aren't phased at all. Are you having fun, Dash?
We just returned from hair and makeup, so we're camera ready now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Are you just happy to be outside, Dash? Say, yeah, definitely. So that water pipe that busted off of our hot water system, it means that we have literally no water in the van anymore. It also means we don't have a heating system, so to continue on with our travels doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because the only people who can fix it would be an Airstream dealership. And we're out west. There's only one within like a, I don't know, 6 to 7 hour radius of here. So thankfully, we're only about an hour and a half north of Airstream of Wyoming, which we went and visited yesterday, and they're gonna try to fit us in the next couple of weeks. So we have to rework all of our plans because tomorrow we were supposed to be going up to Yellowstone, and that puts us 6.5 hours away from the dealership, which ain't gonna work out. Are you interested in what Dad's doing? Say, and you too, Mama. How goes the drying, Mr. Fernandez?
I wouldn't say this is the best use for a Dyson hairdryer, but I mean, it's getting the job done. And when you don't travel with like shop vacs and things like that, this is what you're left with.
But if you're wondering where it was plugged into, it's an outdoor outlet out here, which is pretty cool. Dash is like, ooh, something that's dangerous for me to play with. Let's not do that, buddy. But for those of you who have been following along, you'll be proud to see that Dash has on shoes today. Say, winning. What we're not going to do while we have to think about all these logistical changes is mope around. So we decided that we're going to go on the hike that we were supposed to do yesterday. Right, Dee?
We're doing it. We're getting it done. We're going to have some fun.
Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, logistics with RV life can be really time consuming, especially when things don't go as planned. And that's part of why we decided we wanted to do the van, because it would give us more flexibility. But even though we're in the van, there are still times like now that it requires more flexibility than really is comfortable, well, I would say for anyone. So because we have this issue with the van, we've got to get her fixed. There are a couple things that make this complicated. I already mentioned that yesterday we were supposed to go, or tomorrow we're supposed to go to Yellowstone. So because we are out west in a really, really popular area, it's very, very hard to find somewhere to stay. Like RV parks are booked up, the national parks are booked up. I don't know what, but things are falling in the van. So Daniel and I, our first reaction, because we could totally do dispersed camping out here, but because we don't have a water system, it makes our toilet very difficult to like use easily.
It's doable. I mean, if you can do the do, you just need a jug to kind of like wash things down. So you can do it if you want to.
So we may end up doing that. But at first we were like, hey, I've got a big work day on Monday and Tuesday this week. I was like, let's just grab a hotel. Well, we looked at the hotel prices in Jackson Hole, and even though we have 1 trillion points, the 2 Marriotts here.
Yeah, the first one, $650 a night. $650 for Fairfield Inn, not even like, Ritz-Carlton or anything. The second one, which is a what do you call those? The signature hotels, $1,000. $1,000 a night.
So we're gonna be doing the doo-doo before we're doing that, because that's just insane.
Or here's another option, which is something that we've done once before. We can stealth camp low key, and we'll bring y'all along for that to see how that goes. Maybe we'll get caught, maybe not, but I mean, it'll save us a ton of money.
So yeah, so figuring that piece out is not really all that easy. Luckily, I did find that there is one night available at one of the national parks campgrounds for the first night that we're missing a night. So that's the only one we got booked so far.
And we also, just to cover all of our bases, we looked on HipCamp as well, which is a really cool website. So if you're not familiar with HipCamp, definitely check that out. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but it's a really good website. And there was nothing really close. Everything was across the border in Idaho. So unfortunately, that's a little bit too far out of the way for us.
And we looked at Campendium. There are RV parks out in this area, but they're either A, insanely expensive. One of the ones was like $199 a night. And we don't even need hookups, and I don't even know if they had availability. But we're trying to stay in this general area because another complicated part about having to move things around for this particular trip is that this coming Friday we're flying out to go do a family vacation with my family in Texas. Technically, we could have driven, obviously, the van from here to Texas, but that's a 24-hour trip. So we're not really looking to do that anytime soon. We had flights booked out of Yellowstone, Bozeman, which is about 4.5 hours north of where we're at right now. But now that we're not going to Yellowstone, that didn't make sense. So last night on our way back home from the Airstream dealership in Wyoming, Daniel drove and I researched flights, and we were able to find flights that are going out of Jackson Hole Airport to Houston. But we were worried because we were like, these flights are already expensive to get from this area out west in Wyoming to Texas. But Daniel had some genius point mad skill stuff that worked out.
One of my favorite things to do is to leverage all of the perks that come with some of the travel credit cards. And one of them that we have is specifically with Delta, and it comes with a companion pass annually. So one of the really cool things about that is that you can use it for a domestic flight. And
for people who have never used a companion pass, what is a companion pass?
Basically buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
Right? So if a flight seems expensive, let's just say, for instance, it's $500 and you really only budgeted for $300 a flight or $250. Well, that $500 flight turns into 2 flights because your companion is absolutely $0. So that is how we booked a buy one, get one free flight out of Jackson Hole, which is a little tiny little Delta hub here. Delta flies out of here, so that's pretty cool.
So flights that would have cost us if we didn't have any kind of deal, etc., that we found a good deal on Google Flights to start, which is why we decided to go with Delta, because literally all of the flights from here to there, and being this last minute too, were like $1,000, $1,500 to get there round trip. But we found one through Google Flights that was like $560 round trip through Delta, and then we actually went and booked it on Delta's website, used our companion pass, and we found out that we actually had some e-credits for a previous flight that we had to move around. And so total round trip, me, Daniel, and of course Dash, our lap infant, who was free until 2, are flying from Jackson Hole to Houston 7 days from now for like $375. So that is some voodoo credit card point magic that we were really, really thrilled about. And it keeps us closer to the Airstream dealership that's about an hour south of the airport.
And another really cool thing about it is that even though storage at Yellowstone wasn't expensive, where we were going to park the van while we went on vacation, we were able to cancel that storage. So we don't have to pay storage fees because, well, one of my favorite tricks is, I'm sure the Airstream dealers wouldn't like you talking about this, but one of my favorite tricks is if you have to have anything done, plan it around a vacation so you can drop your vehicle off there, then you don't have to pay storage fees. So for us who full-time travel, that's a pretty cool little like hack, because it doesn't really matter what you're dropping your Airstream off. In our instance, in this case, we're dropping it off to get some service work done. But it could just as well be, you know, you're having some soft starts added or things like that. Sometimes even just a lower dollar amount. So let's just say, for instance, you were looking to like make a modification to your Airstream and you were like, that add-on's like $500, right? Well, if you don't have to pay the storage fees, we'll just take that storage fee that you would have paid and apply it towards that modification, drop it off at Airstream, go on vacation, come back, and bam, there you go. You're coming back to an Airstream that's been modified by the dealer. So it's like a great deal in my eyes.
Sometimes that is more efficient than others. For instance, the place we were going to be storing the Airstream while we were gone was $55 this time. So that's really efficient. We used to like leave our rig at like a campground, and that can get really pricey quickly. So yeah, it can work.
Now, the downside, here's the caveat to my little like Airstream dealer hack. If they're sitting on a ton of inventory on the lot, it's not going to work, because the last thing they want to be is a storage facility for other people's Airstreams. So you have to keep that in mind as well. But if it's an Airstream dealer that's kind of like going through some inventory and clearing them out and they have some space, well, then that hack might actually work. So I just wanted to throw out that caveat just so you know and we're aware of it. But and I'm not saying like drop it off for a car wash and say I'll be back in like 3 weeks. I've tried that. It doesn't work. From the dealer's perspective, it's really helpful for you to do that as well, because if at least they have the room on the lot, Lord knows, you know, all the dealers are backed up with service work. And if they have the flexibility to work you in when they have a gap versus like on a very specific day and time, it can be easier for them. But again, it depends on the dealer. So not all dealers are created equal, which we've said before. It's a good day for a hike.
We haven't been able to catch a break lately anyway. The likelihood of it raining was high.
We're officially all suited up. Dash is in his harness that he has not been in since our trip to Spain. He is front facing. Check it out. And hopefully no heel kicks for daddy today while we're on this hike, because that is not fun. But yeah, we've got about a 7-mile hike we're doing today. Technical difficulty, not too much. I think it's all flat.
Are we going the right way?
Oh, nope.
This way.
Wrong way. Well, we're off to a bad start then. All right, Dash, what do you think, buddy? We are 30 steps into this hike. You have any initial thoughts you want to share? What? Oh, you see something interesting already? Well, that's a good sign. That means it's probably going to be an amazing hike. We'll see.
Ooh, the water is pretty. Ooh, and that bird is cool too. Dash is dead at pretending to be a bear.
see over there? You see boats? You see boats?
So part of the whole idea around the logistics thing is that you need to take time to just do something you enjoy, especially when things get stressful and frustrating. So this is a pretty perfect example of that.
Honest to God truth, when we were switching over to van life, days like today are exactly what we had envisioned, forcing us to live more in the outdoors than we were before, so that we could have moments like this. I mean, what an amazing day. Dash is definitely living his best life right now. The truth of the matter is that we didn't need to be in a van to make this change. But you know what? Switching to a van was kind of a kick in the pants we needed to get outside.
Just another day in van life.
Yeah, today does not suck.
Made it to the top.
Dash, is that cool?
Yeah. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Oh, you found a cool rock.
Today's hike has been absolutely amazing. If I could change one thing, it would be to bring some bug spray. Unfortunately, we left it in the van. And it's kind of like, if you're a runner, the chafing stuff you use, like you don't realize you're missing it until you're like 10 miles out and you're starting to chafe. And then you're like, oh dang, I really should have put something on. So it's kind of like that. But beyond that, great hike today. Also at this point, we're roughly at the halfway point. Lauren and I have switched out, so Lauren is packing baby Dash right now, and I've got the backpack, as you can see, because he's getting a little sleepy, and well, nothing wrong with taking a nap. Dude, are you having so much fun? You're not sleepy at all, are you? You're just having a good time with mommy. What? Oh, there we go. Ah, somebody's playing a game. Wah! Yeah? Yeah? Other side? Other side! Oh, there he is! There's baby Dash! Where's baby Dash? Oh, there's baby Dash!
All right. We made it back to the van. Did anything go wrong, D?
Let's just say there was a large portion of this video that you're never going to see because we did a bad thing. Well, my brain is not even functioning. We've been hiking that long. We've burned 2,000 calories burned. Been hiking for about 6 hours.
We went down the wrong trail. But we both want our shoes off, and poor Daniel really wants to take the baby off because a 13-mile hike carrying a child on your front.
Wait. I mean, let's be accurate here. 13.6-mile hike up a mountain. We were supposed to hike around
7.
the lake, around the lake, the circumference of the lake.
We took the wrong turn.
We took a wrong turn, and we just enjoyed the view so much that the next thing you know, there were no more hikers, and we didn't see any hikers for like 10, 20, 30 minutes. And then we started to see snow, like snow-capped, like, you know, mountaintops.
We made it. Dash is happy. Dash, are you happy?
We made it.
Yeah. Made it to the van.
Yeah. Daddy Sherpa. Right now, these shoulders, like, I can't even feel them. Agonizing pain. But we were concerned about not making it back before the sun went down. We have 30 minutes to spare before the sun goes down.
We made it.
So, not that I wouldn't want to, like, I hear bears are cuddly, but yeah, no, not a good thing.
Okay, I'm taking off my shoes. But to be fair, we did see a coyote and a moose.
Like, a big moose.
A big,
huge, like,
big moose.
Was it a big moose, Dash? Was it a big moose? Right? It was that big. Like, he's saying the size of our van, but like almost that big.
It was dope. Okay, we're taking our shoes off and getting in the van. You know Daniel's tired when he's letting me drive us home.
Yeah, I'm not driving at all for like a week. The truth is, if you've been following for a while, there was a pair of shoes that have thousands of miles on them that I was meaning to get rid of because they're old and they're way past their prime. Way past their prime. I just decided to wear them today one last time. I even told Lauren before we go, I'm like, this is like shoes last ride before I ditch them. But we're going on a short hike, no big deal. 13.6 miles later, I can barely walk. Literally, my feet feel like they were just smashed with 2x4s. And I rucked, which means like, you know, hiking with a backpack and stuff and with some weight, with baby Dash, up and down a mountain all day. So, although granted, Lauren did carry Dash for a little bit of it as well. So
like maybe 30 minutes.
Like 30 minutes of 6 hours. Yeah. So, yeah. There's that. I'm in agonizing pain, and I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. I'm delusionally tired and in pain.
Well, that hence is this life, right? It's not always what you have planned.
Back to my delusional rant. I was joking with Lauren, and I said that we definitely did not earn our orienteering badge today. So that's just gonna have to happen another day. Yeah, definitely no orienteering badge for us. I did earn my Daddy Sherpa mountaineering badge today, though. So that is one that I did earn. So, yeah.
After a crazy hiking experience yesterday, we just crashed last night. But back to logistics, we didn't have anywhere to stay tonight. So this morning I got up, went on the internet and scoured to try to find a place that was not obnoxiously expensive or totally and completely booked. We found one night at a campground close to the airport that we're leaving from this coming Friday. And that was it. So we just booked it. We came over here and told them our sob story about our water heater breaking. And they accommodated us in a spot that's usually reserved for management through the time that we need before we can drop off the Airstream fingers crossed, on Friday next week to get it fixed. So, sometimes it's just about asking for help, because the people in the RV community are amazing and they really came through for us on this one. But we're pretty happy about this new spot that we're hanging out at. It's beautiful, but we're sleepy again. So, Dash and I are calling it an early night. And yeah, so if you haven't already this week, make sure you wander local, because as you know, it's good for the soul. You say bye-bye, Dash? Say see you soon, friend. Oh, by the way, if you don't know this already, if you haven't seen in some of our comments, we're now publishing videos on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So 3 times a week. So, there you go. We'll see you on whatever the next day is. Can you say bye-bye? Bye. That is not a bad view, Dash.